Hey guys, and welcome back. We are on chapter 5, lesson 5. We have two more lessons to go after this one. All right, so today we are going to learn how to compare decimals and fractions and to compare and order rational numbers. All right, so if we look at number 1, which is on page 388, it says fill in the circle with greater than, less than, or equal to make this statement true. We have negative 1.2 and 0.8. All right, so first off, let's just talk about the negative and the positive. All right, so negative 1.2, we can definitely tell that that's going to be less than a positive number, which is going to be 0.8. Even though 0.8 is less than 1.2, but since it's negative 1.2, it is going to be greater than, right? So if we also graph it down here, all right, if I graph negative 1.2, all right, so I got my 1.2, all right, there's my circle, all right, and then if I graph 0.8, all right, which will be right here, okay, we could see that the right side, all right, because the numbers that are more to the right are more positive, is 0.8, all right, so to make this statement true, it is going to be eating 0.8. All right. Number 2, which is also on page 388. All right, so it says fill in the blank with greater than, less than, equal to make the statement true. We have negative 1.4, and then we have negative 1.25. All right, so again, we're going to graph these. All right, so if we have negative 40, all right, which is going to be right down here, negative 1.40, sorry, and then we have negative 1.25, which is going to be right here in the middle, we are going to see that it's closer going up, all right? So when we have vertical number lines, we want the number that is higher up to be the greater number, okay? So I'm going to eat negative 1.25. You could also look at this as like if you owe people like any change or money or anything. So you could say, I owe my friend $1.40, or I would rather owe my friend $1.25. I would rather owe my friend $1.25 because then that means I don't have to give them more of my money. All right. Looking at number 3, we have fractions. We're going now to compare fractions. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to give them the least common denominator. All right. So in chapter 2, we talked about doing this. We changed the bottom number to a LCM. All right, which is a least common multiple. Okay. And so if we list out the multiples of 8, okay, we have 8, which is going to be 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. All right. So same thing with 16. Okay. If we have 16, 32, 48, etc. All right. We can see from here, our least common multiple is going to be 16. All right. So that means that we want the bottom number to both be 16. So I'm going to change negative 3 over 8 to negative whatever over 16. So how do I get from 8 to 16? If you remember how we do that, we are going to multiply by 2 because 8 times 2 is 16. All right. So what we do on the bottom, we have to do up top, which means that we're also going to multiply this by 2. So 3 times 2 is going to give us 6. So now we can compare this is going to be now negative 6 over 16. All right, now we can compare the top numbers. So now which one is going to be farthest away, all right, or which one do we not want to pay as much, all right? So we have negative 6, we have negative 5, all right? I don't know about you, not feeling 22. Okay, sorry, that was a really lame joke. All right, but I don't want to pay more than I have to, so I definitely just want to stick with my negative 5, all right? So negative 5 is going to be closer. If we had a graph, all right, and we put all of the different numbers out here, okay, let's say this is negative 5, this is negative 6, negative 7, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, okay, all right, so which one is going to be closer, or more to the right, I should say, more to the right would be 5 because there's our dot. There's our other dot. More to the right would be -5. Okay, I know I just repeated myself a bunch of times. I'm really sorry. But I just want to make sure you guys understand. All right. So if the number is more to the right, pick that number. All right. Next we have fill in the blank with greater than, less than, or equal to make the statement true. So we're going to rename 8/15 as a decimal, and then we're going to graph both the decimals on a number line. Okay, so 8/15, the way that we're going to do that is that we are going to take the top number, which is 8, we're going to put them in the house, and then we're going to put 15 on the outside. All right, I already know that you can't put 8 and 15 to 8, so I'm going to just add my decimal and my 0. All right, and now I'm going to divide like normal. If you do not want to do this by hand, you could also use a calculator and do 8 divided by 15 and get your answer, but I'm going to show you guys how to do this as well. So 15 goes into 80 5 times, okay, which I believe is going to be 75. And then we're going to get 5 again, and then 15 can't go into 5, so you got to put the 0, bring it down. 15 can go into 53 times, which is going to give us 45. And oh, look, we have a repeating decimal, all right, which is going to be 0.53. Okay, our notion bar is going to only go above the 3, okay, since our 5 is not also repeated. It's only going to be above the 3. So now our new number as a decimal is going to be -0.53 repeating. All right, so again, we are going to make another graph. All right. I'm going to start this at -0.50. And then this is going to be -0.51. And then -0.52. Okay. And last but not least, -0.53. All right. So now we're going to graph these, which means we're just going to put the dot on the line. All right, so I want -0.51, which is going to give me right here, and then -0.53 is going to be there. So again, the number that is most right, all right, the rightest number is going to be the one that you want eaten, all right? So that means that -0.51 is going to be the greater than -0.53. All right, scrolling down to number 5, which is on page 389. All right, so it wants us to order the sets from least to greatest. Okay, so best thing to do is we are going to change our fractions into decimals, all right, to the 100th place. All right, so again, we are going to write -22 over 25, which will give us, I'm going to use a calculator this time because I don't want to do that. All right, so I do 22 divided by 25, which I'm going to get -2.88. All right, for that one. And then I also have -2 and 1/10, which is going to give me -2.1. All right, so now what we're going to do is now we're going to compare our, well, actually, we're going to graph these. I'm sorry, I lied. And if you just want to compare them, that's fine. You can definitely tell which one is going to be the least, and then you're going to tell which one is the greatest, all right? So, but for those of you who may not know, we are going to graph these. So, -2.88, we're going to guess it's like here-ish, all right? -0.1, we'll say it's about here. And this is just guesstimation, guys. You don't have to be perfect about it. All right. The reason why it is guesstimation is because since they are not like exactly like tallied out, then we're not going to exactly know where to go. So we're going to just kind of guesstimate and see, you know, it's kind of around there. All right. So as we can see, our -0.288, -2.88, sorry, is our least. All right. So we want it the least first. And then our second least is going to be -2.46, and then lastly we have -2.1. All right, and that's how we do least to greatest. Please remember to always change fractions into decimals. It will definitely make your life a lot easier. If you don't and you want to do it a different way, that's cool too. Just make sure that you know how to do it, if that makes sense. all right? Because that's the beauty of math. Math, you can do tons of different ways and get the same answer still. So, all right, Mr. Plum's science class, this is on page 390, all right? Mr. Plum's science class is growing plants under different conditions. The table shows the difference between from the average of some students' plants, the order of the difference from least to greatest. So again, least to greatest, we want from smallest to biggest, all right? So I'm going to change my fractions into decimals. So if you still have your sheet, that is great from chapter 2. If you need an extra one, I got extra. So Ricky, his plant is going to be 3.25. All right, and then those are already decimals. And then we're going to change this into a decimal, which is going to be negative 1.7. All right, so now we're going to we're going to order from least to greatest. So my smallest one, the one that's all the way to my left, is going to be negative 2.2. All right. After that, then I'm going to get my next negative, which is going to be negative 1.7. After that, I'm going to do my next number, all right, which is going to be 1.7. And then lastly, we have Ricky, who has 3.25. So it looks like Ricky actually did really good. All right, so that is how we order from least to greatest. We are changing fractions into decimals. Let me know if you like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a like. If you want to see more videos, subscribe to my channel. Punch that notification bell so you can see more videos like this and hear my wonderful voice. If you have any questions, let me know. I will see y'all later.